I have some news. Al-Qaeda is in Iraq. Al-Qaeda, it's called Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And my friends, they wouldn't, if we left, they wouldn't be establishing a base. They wouldn't be establishing a base. They'd be taking a country.
I have some news for John McCain, and that is that there was no such thing as Al-Qaeda in Iraq until George Bush.
And just a short time ago, we received word that apparently McCain is commenting again on it today from the campaign trail, saying, yesterday Obama said we shouldn't have gone into Iraq. That's history. What we should be talking about is what we're going to do now. So let me introduce our guests to weigh in from the left. Sam Stein, political reporter for the HuffingtonPost.com, and from the right, syndicated columnist Joel Mowbray. So, Joel, the battle still going on for the Democratic nomination, by the way.
It is.
But here, starting yesterday, the day after the Democratic debate, you've got John McCain coming out, and this works for him. He's challenging Barack Obama on Iraq, and he stays in the picture on days when we're talking, or likely to be talking, so much more about the Clinton-Obama battle.
Well, you know, I think John McCain certainly sees benefit in this for himself directly, and I think that's true because right now the main distinguishing point he has between either of the Democrats is on Iraq. Now, of course, that can be used to pummel him over the head given the unpopularity of the decision to go to war, but I think if he frames it correctly about the future and saying, look, we're making progress, we're on a path to victory, you can't choose defeat. But I think tactically it might be a bit of a mistake because Hillary is going to be a far more polarizing candidate in November because she's already ticked off so many members of the Democratic base, particularly black voters, that I think if she somehow manages to beat Barack Obama, it's going to be much better for John McCain. So he should allow her the opportunity to stay relevant and to stay in the news, competing with Barack Obama, instead of having Barack essentially transcend her and already leapfrog into November, as you see now with Obama versus McCain.
Interesting. Well, Sam, Obama's been attacked by Republicans and Hillary Clinton, for that matter, as not having enough experience for the job. This is something that we've heard from the very beginning of his run. How does Obama overcome that on the war issue specifically when he faces McCain, a war hero, if in the general election, if it does come to that? I mean, he's got to walk a fine line, and I know even when he did make his comments, he initially, you know, he always seems to put out whenever he does go after McCain, he thanks him for his service and all of that.
Well, you thank McCain for his service in the war, and then you pivot there to his decision to get into the war in Iraq. It's a tactical move by Obama to say, listen, we need a fresh face, we need a fresh idea in regards to this war. It's the same thing he did with Hillary Clinton. You say, I had the judgment, I had the foresight to not get us into Iraq. Now John McCain's talking about all the challenges we face in there. Well, listen, when it came time to make that decision that got us to this point in the first place, I was right, John McCain was wrong. And I think you'll see Barack Obama making that point repeatedly going forward if, in fact, he is the nominee.
And Joel, if, in fact, he is the nominee, and if, in fact, he does continue to do that, to tie John McCain to the policies of President Bush and the mistakes that have been made going into the Iraq war, how much does that potentially hurt McCain in the general election? I mean, we heard in this back and forth with reporters where he talked about the fact that he would lose and then he retracted it and said, well, that's not what I meant exactly.
No, what he said was, if I can't convince the American people that we're succeeding in Iraq, then I'm going to lose in November, which I think is an absolutely true statement. And by the way, if Barack Obama is the one who succeeds in framing the debate over Iraq, then yes, he'll lose. But if John McCain frames this as a question about the future, saying, look, things were not going so well before the surge, which is why I was the one who pushed for the surge strategy. You know, the Democrats, they have an option for defeat, for retreat, and for getting out. I have a plan for victory. Americans like winning. They really don't like losing. So if John McCain says to them, look, you know, we had a lot of terrible things that happened. We had a lot of mistakes that were made by the Bush administration. But, you know, I am not with them, and I wasn't with them, and he wasn't. Then he can frame this as a question of what do we do going forward, and, you know, do you want to choose defeat or do you want to stay in this to win?
I've got to jump in here because we're just about out of time. But Sam, let me just ask you finally, will we be talking more, if it is these two gentlemen, as we head to the general, will we be talking more about Iraq? Because really the economy has taken the lead in terms of the minds of the voters in the past several months. But given the nature of this situation, will we hear more about Iraq?
Well, I think that John McCain's going to make this all about Iraq. He's admitted that he doesn't have much knowledge about about the economy. Iraq is his strong point. And just to pivot off what was just said, I mean, we have 6-8 months to go in regards to this general election. So if we're continuing to talk about Iraq, what happens on the ground is going to have a large effect on what happens in the presidential race. We're about to hit the 4,000 mark in terms of soldiers killed. These are major news cycles that are going to go through in regards to the presidential race. John McCain's going to have a lot of questions to answer in regards to his support of Iraq.
Sam Stein, Joel Mowbray, great to talk to you both. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.